Welcome back to the Light Renegades. My name is Starr. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. To those that might be new, we are the Light Renegades. We are a collective of Pleiadian beings, bringing you information from the stratospheres that are ever expanding. We are disclosing cosmic secrets and hopefully bringing forward information that is going to allow for you to stand ever more in your sovereignty and in your power. That being said, you're going to have to bear with me, everyone. I'm smack bang in the middle of doing a massive purge of my own self-expression. I was grateful to receive this message from the Angelic Council, and I know those are in real time. You know, last week's message was quite the message, so I was surprised that we actually had a message from the Angelic Council this week. I felt like the energies were so disrupted that I thought that they might take a break. There has been some expressions that took a break in other spaces, but they said, you know, they wanted to come forward with a message of support, and a message that's definitely been supporting the spaces that I've been of late. I've just filmed the most chaotic energetic update I think to date, but I think that was for purpose, just so you can all just see just how, you know, violent and confusing this whole entire path is, and the Angelic Council go into a little bit more of that expression. And if you haven't watched the previous channeling from the Angelic Council, I'm going to tag in the description, because I feel like this makes this whole entire video make a little bit more sense. So you might want to pause here. Please go easy with self. Please make sure that you're looking after your mental mind, your physical body, when it's receiving this understanding that does break down consciousness, and that is no small feat, and it can be incredibly I don't want to say dangerous, but, you know, if not received and managed in the right manner, it can be detrimental to your mental psyche, is what I want to share. So you have to make sure that you are looking after yourself. And, you know, teams of light are always protecting you behind the scenes, but I wanted to put it in those, you know, extreme of terms, because it can be too much for some. So make sure that you are, you know, only seeding in information that you know is going to be palatable for those around you. It's not okay to be sharing a lot of information with those that just aren't ready to hear it. So please hold that in your understanding and your expression too. And I don't know why I brought that forward so strongly right now, but I think someone needed to hear it. Sometimes it's just too much for other people's expression, and it's not time for them to seed in that truth. So hold that in heart as well, and, you know, ask all teams of light before sharing information with other people, is what I want to share. And, you know, I definitely learned that the hard way. I lost some souls along the way, because you know, it was just too much for their expression, and I had to hold hands up to that and know that that was a learning part on my path. And, you know, no regrets, but at the same time I've learned, you know, many lessons the hard way. So I want to share everything that I've learned up until this point, so that it can potentially be helpful for some of you out there. But please bear with me. It's been a lot trying to even get through 2 videos already. This is my last one of the day. I'm going to stagger these, and I'm bringing these out to you, and I did share a little bit about that I'm not going to be filming in real time. So hopefully when this message goes out, I've touched ground a little bit deeper in my expression, but I've just been fragmented, and, you know, really just having to release to the deepest amounts of my capacity. And I'm going to tag that energetic update video in the description as well, so you can see that, just in case you do receive this in non-linear time. But yesterday's message from the Angelic Council was titled Life, and they started with, "Dear light beings, we know that last week's channeling came as a blow to so many. Please know that we share information not to harm, but to push you to your limits of consciousness. So many of you came here to break free from the constraints of the past. You are fragments of times that once was. You've been yearning to return back to wholeness. We hope that in time you can all see that that wholeness, at least in the timelines right here and right now, means knowledge. Means the breaking down of rigidity and being open to exploring it all. No matter where you believe you have come from, no matter where you have already been told, no matter what you have already been told, be open to exploring, for this is true freedom of soul's expression. We know so many of you have held a notion of whom we are so tightly. We want to say, no more. What do you want? What do you want to be if no one else, what would you want to be if no one else had told you what to be? Because believers, when we say right from birth, someone or something told you what to be, even yourself. But in the here and now, yes, back to the present time, you get to decide what is it that soul is yearning for. We felt many of you wince at this notion, for you know in heart that you've been afraid to be anything other than what someone else or something else has told to you up until this present given time. Not full consciousness, of course, otherwise you wouldn't be receiving this message. Somewhere soul chose this. How does it feel? How does this feel to you? Challenging? Frightening? Like nothing else you've experienced before? Good. This means we are working together quite smoothly. You decide to be here and you wanted to push yourself to the next chapter, your most authentic capacity, which means, of course, it doesn't feel good, comfortable, easy. It's not supposed to. We suggest you find ease where possible, but know that this path will break you open. It will hurt, and it's supposed to. You learn through pain, you love through acceptance. And that notion just absolutely blew my mind. I sat with that for a good half an hour. You learn through pain, you love through acceptance. I'm going to say it one more time, my heart. You learn through pain, you love through acceptance. Many have not felt true universal love. We're working with so many of this collective on a one-to-one basis, as you have heard our call. You have sought our consort, and we have heard your cries. Know that we want each soul here to experience that which we know to be possible, true unity. You are all well on your way by being part of this community. The light shared here is something that is quite profound, something so many cannot begin to even imagine just how impactful. The minority is quite literally the majority in terms of resonance and frequency. We would like to share and to add 3 is equating to 30,000 and so on in terms of understanding, which just blew my mind again. We want for each of you to know you are important, and we are taking this slow. There is no need to rush. We are listening to each of you, and we want to explain it all. But know that this may not be your truth, and that also be okay. You will find it, and it may change. It may become something else entirety in time, and that be okay. You can create your own reality, but know that notions of the past have been binding you, have been binding so many of you. This is what we ultimately wish to eradicate, so that you can always make way for the new. We want the best for all of you, dear souls, here today. We see so many of you, and we are holding you in our light. Sorry, I'm going to say that again. We think that be best all for today, dear souls. We see you and we hold you in our light, for you are everything. And apologies everyone, I feel like I've not given that channeling justice, because there were so many profound notions of expression that came forward, but I definitely feel like the Angelic Council just brings forward a frequency that we receive. So please, sink into that notion and their frequency, and ask for them to be in your spaces and your expression. And I know that last week's message rocked so many of you to your foundations, and me included. I've been really having to break down in order to be able to bring these understandings and all of these channelings forward that I've been doing for this entirety over here of the Light Renegades. It's taken me to spaces that I just didn't even think to be true, didn't want to be true somewhere. And I've been seeing in so many dark expressions that I've been in previous lives that have been so challenging to accept at a soul's level, because somewhere I didn't want them to be true, because I felt shamed, I felt guilt, I felt utter despair in some things that I know I've been connected into, because it's just horrific. But I have to see that as my truth, and knowing that that's been my soul's path, and I chose to do that so that I could be here in the here and now, expressing all of this to all of you. So whatever is coming forward in your space, please do just feel it to its deepest capacity. And if you would like support in your spaces, please know that we are here. I know that I often step forward and I say, I'm challenged, this is happening, but I promise you, teams of light always step forward and help me support those that do step forward. So don't be hesitant to do so. I've gone through a lot on this journey, and that's also been with purpose, so that I could be, my whole self-expression to you all. And that's still, expanding in spaces. I'm growing every day, I'm learning every day, but so are each and every single one of you. So trust in where you are being led, and trust that your mind can change, your expression can change. And so many times there's been so many things that I've brought forward on this path, and then I've just thought, yeah, that's not my expression anymore, and I've had to change it and bring this publicly out to all of you. Somewhere behind the scenes, I'm incredibly annoyed by teams of light. There's been so many expressions that have been broken down with my ego and my consciousness time and time again, that I've had to shift my narrative. So much with the idea of the Luciferian understanding, that still something that's ever expanding behind the scenes. I'm going to bring that forward when it's time, but Lucifer's energy has taken on a very different notion for me, and something that it wasn't at the beginning. At the very beginning of my journey, I was very much finding Lucifer's energy and killing him in spaces, and that was part of my initiation into being a balanced soul in this space, within that fragmented understanding of that soul's I don't want to say soul's essence, but I guess source expression. But Luciferian energy has been very much connected to souls that I know this lifetime. So Lucifer took on a very real expression in terms of this masculine energy that felt like the ex that you shouldn't go back to, is how I think I described this notion. But now the expression of they, them, the energy is completely different, and that's a whole nother vibration that I've been having to sink into. And I've had to just trust my evolution in those spaces, but it's been taking me to some extreme breaks in my consciousness. So that's why I said, please make sure that you are looking after yourself. Teams of light have made sure that I've been in the safe safest space possible, although I've been pulling my hair out behind the scenes because I thought, what am I doing back in my hometown that I didn't want to be in, you know, back in my parents' house. I thought, how is this all happening? Why am I here, you know? But I realized this was the safest space for me. I needed grounding. I needed my family around me to ground me in the spaces so that I could be expressing and, you know, traversing all of this space in the here and now, and then, you know, holding my little inner child because they remember me as such, as, you know, being one of the youngest in the family. I needed to be here so that I could seed in all of this with all of them. And I'm so incredibly grateful, although it's been challenging, you know, working through ancestral lineage understandings with all of them. But, you know, I'm grateful to be in the middle of my whole expression with them because I know that we are all growing in tandem, and I'm grateful to be seeing those spaces rippled out. So know that whatever you are doing, by seeding in your light here, by showing up and just experiencing this and having your consciousness broken down, you know, you are helping so many, I promise you. And, you know, I have to fight imposter syndrome often. I think, you know, what gives me the right to be here and, you know, to be sharing all of this with you? What gives me the right to feel like I can channel these beings? And, you know, who has the right to do anything? This is my reality, and I get it to be so. And, you know, so many souls I know behind the scenes will probably step forward and be like, she's living in la la land, you know, something that I've heard time and time again. And so what if I am? This is my reality, and I want it to be such. Slash somewhere I don't want it to be such, which is why even more know this is, you know, my truth and my reality, because I came kicking and screaming on this path. There's been so much that I didn't want to bring forward, but I knew that I was supposed to in my soul and in my heart. I knew this to be my truth. I knew it was going to be challenging. I knew I was going to be pushing the boundaries of so much that we're bringing forward. And, you know, I'm ever grateful for the souls that are around me, meeting, you know, I say meeting, virtually meeting Anna Maria, my fellow Pleiadian and Starseed, you know, sister, and Cabello, who is the original Light Renegade. I was so incredibly grateful to have them quite early on in my awakening, and, you know, we've created all of this together. There's been some harrowing expressions that we've all been in together, and, you know, it's just so much that has been so incredibly painful that has taken me to my limits and beyond. I've died time and time and time again. I've killed myself time and time and time again, but I know this to be my truth. But it does break down the consciousness. You need to take those breaks where you can. You need to be looking after yourself, and if you need to go to therapy, you know, do that for self. There was aspects, you know, that I really needed to go to therapy for in my 3D life, but while still living all of this expanse. So know that that is okay. You can be it all. You get to have whatever it is that you want. And this is something that I think I'm only just coming to cognizant awareness of, because there was so much of my past that was just absolutely binding me, suffocating me. I was drowning in the past. And as soon as I started to say, I want to let go of that weight, you know, the weight became the normal, and I was clinging on to things that were so incredibly painful because I knew nothing else. And teams of light, you know, have come in time and time again and said, hey, you need to let go of this, but it's painful. So I didn't want to, you know, the pain felt more comfortable rather than stepping towards the light. And the light feels uncomfortable when you've not experienced, you know, that of high vibration and that energy before. So know that it doesn't feel good a lot of the time, but there are those glimmers, there are those moments that bring you back to self and soul. So allow others to come in and help you. You know, my heart was completely shut down. And there's been times and times over and over again where I've just retreated and retreated and retreated. And I'm so incredibly grateful to have, you know, those souls that keep pulling me back out of my shell and back out of my cave, and they say, hey, you know, do you want to come and do this today? Do you want to come for a walk? Do you want to get out in nature? And like, they know and they understand what I'm going through. They might not fully understand, but they can see where I am. And these souls have been sent to me to help me. And I hope that each and every single one of you has souls out there too. I know that I'm completely here for you. As much as I struggle in my own space, you know, I've given so many, a lot of information that's been incredibly helpful for them, and I'm grateful to do that. I am of service to you, you know, as much as I am of service to all of humanity. I'm grateful to be here. I do not take this position, you know, lightly. I see it as a privilege, and I'm so eternally grateful for each and every one of you being here, because I know that we are doing so much. We might be a small community, but 3 is equating to 30,000 apparently. And, you know, I feel that energy. I've always felt this energy. I was like, I don't know exactly what is happening here, but I know we are doing something magical, and I feel it. And the magic is ever more stepping forward into my vicinity. And, you know, as time's gone on, I've been delving into even more of the lighter aspects of everything. And I don't bring everything forward quite yet on this channel, but there are other spaces, you know, where I'm connecting to the dragons and the fairies, and it's so much lighter. And I'm grateful for all that expression being brought forward. And I've always been connected to those realms, you know. I remember being so young and being sat outside next to my grandmother's pond, and I was always speaking to expressions, although the tadpoles in that expression, you know, I was speaking to the plants, the trees, the insects, you know, on a daily basis, some insect will find me and we have a conversation. And, you know, that is my reality right now. And I couldn't be more grateful. There was a crow that follows me every time I walk into my, you know, center of town, and I'm grateful for that. I listen to the wind, I speak to the rain. I feel like sometimes I'm commanding the weather, and that is my expression and my truth and my reality, and that is okay. Seed in your reality. The Angelic Council is saying, what do you want? How do you want to experience them? You get to experience them in the way that you want to. Once that energy hits yours, that is them being there to help you. And that was what was seeded in the last expression. So if it completely rocked you off your axis, take everything out of the equation that you've been taught. And I'm saying that coming from Catholic understanding, although being very confused because I didn't see angels the way that others did. I started to. Of late, they start to be very attractive men to me, and I was like, I'm not ashamed to admit that, and quite a nice expression for myself. But I was seeing them as light beings. You get to experience them however you want to. They come in as an energy, they meet your expression, and you get to have that as your reality. They will find you, and they will make sure that they are there for you however you best want to be working with them. So know that about absolutely anything on this path. The energy meets you, and it's about how you receive it and what you then want it to be. We are commanding our own reality, and I jump timelines often, been pulled into other people's timelines and been like, nope, don't want to be in that expression, and brought myself back. You get to do that. You are not trapped anywhere. Even if there's been magic binding, we can break that down together. We can find the source, we can eradicate it, and you can set yourself free. You are not bound to a single thing here. You get to decide your reality, and this is what this whole expression of society doesn't want you to believe. There is those expressions out there, political, otherwise, going even more expanding into the negative reptilian order. They don't want you to believe that you are free, because that means we are not feeding into their narrative, their timelines, their money, their expression, their bloodlust, the most horrific of its understandings. Trigger one, and apologies everyone, but I think sometimes we have to bring it down to its rawest expression to break ourselves out of the fear. We are here to break ourselves free, so we are setting everyone else free, and that understanding as well. So remember that, everyone. You are seeding in the most, you are doing the most by looking after self and soul, and making sure that you are happy in your reality. What do you want your reality to be? Yes, you have to equate to the past and karma, etc., but how can you create more light? How can you create more happiness and joy? Because you deserve it. And that was definitely something that I've been trapped in. I didn't feel like I was worthy to be enjoying my life for the entirety of my life, and I'm finding an expression of where I say, no, I am worthy. Some days it's difficult, some days I keep wanting to crawl back into this dark hole, and for myself to just be blending into the background because it's making others feel comfortable. And I say no, like I want them to be in the light too, but that is up to them. That is up to them to decide. But I'm not doing myself to make others feel comfortable anymore. I want to stand in the light. I want to experience the joy. I want to experience all of this light. I love playing in the dark. I'm 50-50. We're all 50-50. I love seeding in expressions of darkness with the Legion of Darkness, with the vampires that I know, with the demons that I know. I'm part of it all. I experience it all, but I'm trying to experience the joy in all of those spaces. Good of all, harm to none. This is my reality. I want to explore it all. I want to go and see everything. I want to go visit other planets. I want to be jumping through portals. That is what I want to be my reality. I want to be riding the dragons. I speak to dragons every single day. They've been a very, very big part of my expression and my expense that I haven't brought forward into this expression yet, but they've been with me from the very beginning of my journey, and I'm grateful for that. And I know that I might sound absolutely bat crazy to some, and I'm okay with that. This is my reality, and I'm seeding it in as such, and you deserve that too, is what I want to share. But that's all for myself today. I hope that this has been the pep talk that you need, but I'll be back real soon. But do take care for now, and yeah, make sure that you are looking after yourself above all else. But that's all for myself and the Angelic Council today. Please do call upon them, light and dark aspects, whatever you want to be seeding in right now. I was told that it was Michael, Metatron, and a Luciferian energy, Lucifer's energy, sorry, not Luciferian, Lucifer's energy predominantly that is being seeded in this space. So, make sure that you are calling in the highest expression for yourself. But if you are experiencing the dark, it is for a reason, and you can trust yourself in that space. Keep calling in the light, keep calling yourself back to the truth in the highest vibration, and ask for any soul to be stepping forward to you in the highest light and highest vibration. And you can't go wrong, is what I want to share. There is no wrong path. There is just learning and expression of consciousness and different fragments of reality. But that's all for myself and the Angelic Council today, and I'll be back real soon. Take care.